சரி. இப்ப அன்னைக்கு வந்து நம்ம we saw four tenses. Totally there are 12 tenses in English here, in which we have completed four tenses. That is the present tense we have completed. So I hope that you will be able to understand those things. In case you don't understand, the video is there on the channel. You can play it and you can learn. In case you have more doubts, then you can come to me directly, or when I come to your class you can ask doubts. Okay, so today we'll get into the this one, that is the past tense. Okay, and you should understand why I'm teaching tenses to you. There are two things that you should know why I'm teaching tenses. The first one is this. The first one is, unless you know tenses properly, we may not be able to construct sentences correctly, and then we may not be able to express what we want to say in the right tense. So we need to understand the difference between each tense, so that when we want to convey a message, we can convey it using the proper tense. Okay, this is one objective. The second objective is, uh, when you go for placements, you will have a topic called as verb tenses. That is, it will be like a fill in the blanks. So they'll have this blank for which you have to fill it with the right auxiliary verb. For example, they will give you something and then they will ask you whether you'll have to fill it with has or had. So you need to find out, based on the sentence and the context, whether you will put HAS or HAD. Like, this is called as verb tenses. Okay. So this is one reason why we are learning tenses. And for competitive exams also, similar questions will be asked. Okay. So we'll go to the whiteboard now. Okay. So today we are going to go for past tense, right? So when we talk about the past tense, okay, when we talk about the past tense, we have four things as we have for the present tense. We have simple past, uh, past continuous, or continuous tense is also called as progressive tenses. Okay, so past continuous or past progressive tense. Then we have something called as past perfect, and the last one is past perfect continuous. These are the four tenses that we have. So we'll have to see one by one. What is simple past, past continuous, past perfect, and past perfect continuous? These are all we have to understand. And it is not difficult at all. It is very easy, but you should not memorize. You should understand how these tenses work, and then you should also understand where these tenses should be used also, right? So we'll start with the simple past. Okay, see, when we talk about simple past, the first thing that you have to understand is, we are not talking about the present here. Okay, we are talking only about the past. So past means something that is complete. I mean, the action is complete, it's completed. Okay, it is. So we are talking about, say, we are talking about yesterday. Yesterday, you can also say last night, right? Last night. Similarly, we are talking about, say, last week. We are talking about last year. You can use any terms you want. You can say uh, last month, like that. Okay, so whichever words you're using with the past, it means that the action is already over. This is what we are trying to understand. So what you should know with the simple past tense is this. The first thing that you have to understand is, I'll give an example so you will understand it easily. For example, you say, I went to a movie, okay, a movie last night. Okay, now when I say I went to a movie last night, so you're using the verb. This is the verb, right? This is the verb. Went is the verb. So went is which form? It is the V2 form. So why? For that you should understand the three forms of verbs which I told you. So the first form is go, okay? Then the second form is went, and the third form is gone, okay? So this one we say as V1, this is V2, and this is V3. Now always for the past we use only V2 form. This is same like the present tense, okay? There also no, we use the V1 form, and here we use the second form. So I told you for present tense you will always go with V1, for past tense you will always go with V2, and for the perfect tense alone you will use the V3, and they have different names. Now this is the present form of verb, okay, first form of verb or present form of verb. This is the past form of the verb. And this is the past participle form, okay. B3 is the past participle form. So if you have not attended the previous classes, you can go to the previous videos, then that will give you elaborate details on what is V1, V2 and V3 and all, okay. So I don't want to repeat it here. So these are things that you should know before we get into tenses. For every word you should know the three form, okay. Like for example, I want to write about speak. Now speak is the V1 form. What is the past form? Spoke, V2. And what is the third form? That is the past participle form, spoken. So this is very important, okay? So unless you know these three forms of verbs, we may not be able to, know the V2 or V3 forms. So this is important. Now these words are very very easy, very very usually we use it, so we tend to remember. But there are words that we may not be knowing, so you guys have to make sure that you read the three forms of verbs. So you just go to the internet and give three forms of verbs, then tons of words will come. So you have to just look into it so that you will learn these things, okay. Now see, when I look at this sentence, I understand that I'm talking about something that happened last night. So this is the clue. This is the clue. So when you have something called as last night, last year, last week, or yesterday, okay, day before, something like that you have, then that means we are not talking about any present action. We are talking about only past action. So you should understand this is about a completed event. So that means this particular tense should be in V2 form. Okay, so you check, you come to the verb, then you try to check whether the form of the verb is V2. If it is V2, then everything is perfect. This is one thing that you have to understand. So you can see, you can ask me a question like, sir, um, dear, is it audible? I'm sorry, dear, is it audible now? So far, you were hearing whatever I explained. Was there any issue? If you have an issue, let me know in the chat box, dear. So okay, if there is any issue, let me know, ma, because I may not be. knowing. Okay, fine. So, yeah. See, you can ask me a question like, sir, can't I say something like, uh, something like, I wrote a book. Now, see, again, this is also simple past because we are writing the third form. This is the V2 form. So, what is the three forms? Write, wrote, and written. Okay. Write is the first form, wrote is the second form, and the third form is written. Now, if you look at this particular sentence, that is, I wrote a book, you would feel that okay, this there is nothing wrong with the sentence, everything is okay. I can simply say I wrote a book. Okay, see, if you're not particular about any grammar or any tense, then this sentence is correct. Okay, because all you have to say is I wrote a book. You just have to say that. But in terms of grammar, in terms of being perfect, then this means it is incomplete. Now, this sentence is incomplete because it is not telling when I wrote a book. It's not giving me any clue on when I did it because tense is always about time of an action, right? You all know that. Tense is always about a time of an action. But in this particular sentence, I'm not getting any idea about when the book was written. So if I tell to somebody I wrote a book, then the listener would be wondering what book is he talking about, when did you write it, like that. So that means something is not very clear, clarity is missing. So that is why what we do is we tend to uh, tell the time. That is very important. Now I'll give you something else, like say if I say I published an article last month, the same thing, just some difference. Okay, so when I say I published an article last month, now you see that the time is very specific. So I'm talking about something that happened in the last month. I'm being very particular here. So anybody who listens to this mm, sentence or reads this sentence will understand, okay, this person has published an article last month. Now the time factor is not confusing. It's very, very clear and very specific. Okay. And you look at the verb that I've used. I've used ed. That is, this is the V2 form. So if you take a word like publish, if you take a word like publish, the three forms would be published, published, and published. But you see, for this word, go, went, gone, or write, wrote, written, or speak, spoke, spoken, or drink, drunk, drunken. Now, these words are not regular. These are verbs, okay? These are just verbs. These are action verbs. But then the problem is these words are not regular, so we call it as irregular verbs because the spelling is different. There is no connection between this and this and this and this. So everything is different. That's for the reason why we call it as irregular verbs. But if you look at this one, publish, 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 the only two things that we are adding is ed here. So that means it is following a regular pattern. So we call it as regular verbs. These are certain things that you have to remember. Okay, so uh, and uh, you'll sometimes have to understand the difference between this particular verb and this particular verb because the spelling and pronunciation is same. So if you want to identify whether this is V2 or whether this is V3, how will you do it? How will you find out? Imagine this is here. Okay, imagine this is here. This sentence. You come here. I published an article last month. Now, published, the same spelling is applicable for V3 also. So, how do you find out whether this is a V2 or V3? How will you find out? One of you, can you tell me like how you will find out? Any idea? தெரியலையா? எப்படின்னு தெரியலையா? கொஸ்டின் புரிஞ்சா?
The question not this one, sir.
அதாவது இப்போ இந்த சென்டென்ஸ் இருக்குல்லம்மா, ஐ பப்ளிஷ்ட் an article லாஸ்ட் மந்த்னு இருக்கா? ம்? இப்போ நான் என்ன சொன்னேன், இது ரெண்டுமே வந்து இந்த 3 வேர்ட் எடுத்தீங்கன்னா, பப்ளிஷ்ன்றது the first form of verb. This is the V1 form because this is the base word. This is the base or it's also called as the root word. ஏன்னா இது இதுக்கு மேல பிரிக்க முடியாது. So we'll have to call it as root word or base word. So we know that this is the beginning of this word. So we'll have it as V1. The next verb, I mean the next form of verb is V2. That is the past form. So for this we add just ed, published. Here also we add ed. So both V2 and V3 are same in terms of pronunciation and in terms of spelling. Now when this comes in a sentence, when this particular word comes in a sentence, how will you identify whether that word published is whether it is V2 or V3? How will you identify? In case you don't understand, I will start with some other example. Is it very confusing, dear? Whatever it is, you guys tell me, ma. Then only I'll be able to help you, no? At least tell me in the chat box so
Sir,
that
V2 comes after object,
V2
subject,
comes after subject.
after subject. Hmm.
Okay, in this
Sir,
sentence,
but V3 has had or has.
that is one way. Okay, very good, very good. Yeah, that is good. So that also I will try to explain you. Okay, let me try to explain it with an example. Okay, see now I'll try to explain it for you so that you will understand. Ipo, okay, we'll take a word like display. This example I'll try to explain. Now display is the first word. Okay, there is no other word. We cannot reduce it to any other word. No, because this is the starting word. So let us keep it as V1. Okay. The second one is displayed. So listen carefully. Okay. Second one is V2, second form of verb, and the next one that is again same thing, displayed. Now that is V3. Now we have this word arrangement same. Okay, displayed and display. The only thing that we are adding here is ed. Okay, now that is why we call it as, okay, the construction is regular, so we'll call it as regular verbs. Okay, now my question is this. Now I'll write a sentence. Okay, okay, if I'm writing I displayed my project, is there any mistake in this sentence? Imagine you are having a project day and you have to display something, and then I ask you whether you did something, and then you tell me I displayed my project. So is there any mistake with this sentence, dear? If you look at this sentence just like that, you wouldn't find any mistake because everybody speaks like this, everybody tells like this. So there is no mistake with this sentence. But if you closely observe, as I told you before, we get to understand that some.
Sir,
Yeah, dear, tell me.
எப்ப டிஸ்ப்ளே பண்ணுவோம் அந்த மாதிரி கொஸ்டின் வரும் சார் ரெகுலர்.
குட். ஸோ அதாவது வந்து இது ரெகுலர் இர்ரெகுலருக்காக இல்லை, நாட் பிகாஸ் ஆஃப் ரெகுலர் ஆர் irregular. It is because I'll tell you why. Now, displayed, as soon as you see the sentence, no, you should look at the verb here. Always know in a sentence you look at the verb. Then find out whether it is past tense or past perfect tense. ஏன்னா ஈடின்னு வந்தாலே it will be either past tense or past perfect tense. Now, as Danya said here, what you have to understand is when I say I displayed my project, we are talking about a past action. That is very clear. The first thing that we have found out is it is a past action. How did we find out? Because the verb is past. The verb is past. Past action. It talks about past. But the problem is it V2 or is it V3? This is the problem. So if it is going to be V2, I need to get some clue about when this particular action happened. Okay. So the sentence is incomplete again. So we need to fill it. Now I should say I displayed my project yesterday. Now if you look at this, I will simply say that this belongs to V2 because it is talking about yesterday. So yesterday means it is simple past. So this, what is this tense? This sentence is in simple past now. Now, imagine I want to create. I want to change this sentence to V3 now. What I will do? I will write like this. I can write like she has. I'm sorry. She had. Okay, it has to be had because only in the present tense we have as and have. Okay, she had displayed. She had displayed her project. Now Abhimanyu was telling this. Okay, she, it has to be followed by either if it's in the present perfect tense you will use has. Here you can say had. Now the only thing that you'll have to understand is sir, we are using had and then we are using displayed. So that means whenever we have extra words, auxiliary verbs like has or had before the verb, then this should be V3 only. So if you look at a sentence and if there is has, have, had, these three things you remember. Has, have. This is for present tense. Present, presentனா present perfect tense. இதை ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கணும், கரெக்டா தெரியணும். And past perfect tenseக்கு there is only one, that is this one. Okay, had, past perfect. There is only one. Okay, it is two, it is just one. Okay, past perfect. So whenever you have a sentence that has or have, then you should find out that it is a present perfect tense. And had இருந்துச்சுன்னா it is a past perfect tense. இப்போ இதே வந்து இதே கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷன்ல நீங்க been என்ற ஒரு வேர்ட் யூஸ் பண்றீங்கன்னு, then it will become present perfect continuous or past perfect continuous. When? Only when you add been. பட் என்ன ஆகும், அந்த ஈடின்றது இல்லாம போயிடும். அதுக்கு பதிலா கண்டினியூஸ் டென்ஸ்ல என்ன வரணும், ஐஎன்ஜி வரணும். It will change like this. This is the basics of tenses. So I hope that I'm not confusing and you're able to understand, right? So always remember, has and have will come only for present perfect tense, present perfect continuous tense. And similarly, had means it is only for past perfect tense and for past perfect continuous tense. Okay. So if you look at this one, see, the first example is I displayed my project yesterday. Now I will say that this is a simple past tense, sir. And now if I want to convert that sentence into a past perfect tense, then I will have to write like this. She had displayed her project. Now you can ask me, sir, here we are getting to know when this happened. So everybody would answer it happened yesterday. But what is the time clue here? When did it happen? If somebody asks, sir, she had displayed a project. When? The question when. If somebody asks when, you should say this recently happened. This recently happened. This is the only time reference that the perfect tense will give. It will never tell you specific time. It will never tell you when particularly something happened. It is just telling you casually this happened recently. Now I'll give you one more example. You will understand. Uh, See, I'm going to write this. I completed my work um, today. Not today. We'll talk. No, today will be confusing. Okay. I completed my work last month. I completed my work last month. Okay. Then I would say um, I past மட்டும் பார்க்கலாம். I had completed my work. அவ்வளவுதான். இதுக்கு வந்து நீங்க டைம் ரெஃபரன்ஸ் கொடுக்க கூடாது. You're not supposed to say when. Okay, see, this is how you will use tenses. You have to be very careful. You can say I completed and you can tell last month when it happened. But for perfect tense now, you have to say I had completed. But you will never say when. When is hidden. But what people will understand? People will understand, okay, the work was completed recently. They will get to know it happened recently. You don't have to explain it when. So whenever you're using perfect tense, either in the present or in the past, you will never talk about time. You will only say that the work is over or that the something has been done. That's it. Okay. You don't tell the exact point of time. You will never do that. This is with the um, present perfect tense. Okay. Sorry, this is past perfect. For present perfect, the same thing. You can say like Tom has completed his homework. Tom has completed his homework. But I'm not very particular to know about when he completed his work and all. My only thing is, okay, Tom has completed. Fine, done. It's over. Like that. Okay, so this is how you will use tenses. Okay. Now, so far, I think you understand what is simple past and what is this one. What is this? How to use past perfect and all, because we went into past perfect tense. Now I'll have to teach you what is past continuous. Okay, so that also I'll teach you. Okay, now simple past முடிச்சிட்டோம் dear. இப்போ வந்து we are getting into past continuous tense. Okay, so when we talk about past continuous tense, no, it's very simple. The construction is very simple. Now he was playing yesterday. I'm using very simple examples so that you will understand. Okay, but if you want to talk about the they, you will say they were uh, playing something like football last night, something like that. Okay, so you look at the construction here. What are the auxiliary verbs for the past tense? It is was and were. Okay, this is very important. So you can use was or were, but you need to know where to use what, right? So you would say if you use I, or only if you use I, it will always be I was. Okay, but there is one special use case in English where you can say if I were. Only in this particular sense you can use were with I. So this means, I'll tell you, if I were a king, if I were a king, I would help everyone. Now, according to English, this construction is correct. If I were a king, it is imaginary. See, this is not tenses, okay? This is a kind of phrase that we use. So I'm just telling you, இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு sentence எங்கேயாவது வந்துச்சுன்னா, sir, you told me I should use only was with I, but I saw a sentence where they use were with I. How is it possible? Now, according to grammar, na, there is a phrase. If I were is a phrase. So you can use if I were a queen, if I were a king, if I were a master, if I were um, a god, if I were a god, not a god, if I were God, something like that. You can use. So this is only talking about an imaginary condition. Okay. So this you will read when you're looking at conditionals and other things. Okay, so now it's not required, but just to let you know where we can use where. Okay, so always understand the auxiliary verbs for past tense is was and where. Was should be used for singular subjects and where should be used for plural subjects. So for I it is was, for you, it is where. You were. You were playing yesterday, something like that. You cannot say you was. Okay, that is wrong. So you were. Then similarly, if you use Ramesh, names, Ramesh means Ramesh was. You cannot put Ramesh were. You should say Ramesh was. It's an example, okay? Like that, if you use he or she or it will always be was. Okay, but if you use we, you will use we were, they were. Okay, they were. Again, this one, you were. These are things that uh, you have to know, um, you know, by practice, and you should never forget these things. The more you begin to write, the more you begin to read, these things will automatically enter into your conscious mind. So you don't have to take any extra effort. Okay, but you guys have to do it. Okay, so these are things that you should remember. Now, where do we use past continuous tense? Only when I want to refer to an action that continued in the past, but it did not complete. See, the past continuous tense never tells you about when an action got completed. It is only telling you about what a person was doing at that point of time. and it was the action is it is happening. Okay, so when I say he was playing football last night, so I'm trying to say that at that point of time the person was playing football. So when I went to his home, he was playing football. When I went to his home, he was watching TV. So we are only talking about action that is going on, that is going on. This is the use of the past continuous tense. But when it was going on, yesterday, last week, last night, okay, last month, last year, it was going on. Time reference is also very, very specific. You tell when it happened. Okay. But what happens in a present continuous tense? Present continuous talks about now. I can say I am teaching, right? I am teaching English. See, if somebody asks me, so what is your work? What is your profession? If somebody asks me, I can either say I'm a teacher, or I can say I'm a professor, or I can say I'm teaching English because that is my job. So now, if I don't use any extra words and say only this, then it means it's referring to job. But if I say, if somebody asks me, uh, what are you doing now? Somebody asks me, what are you doing now? Then I would answer, I am teaching English. Now, in this context, also, if I use I am teaching English, this person will understand. Okay, now you're teaching English, fine. But in case the person is not able to understand, or if I feel that the person may not understand, so I will have to say now. I can say I am teaching English now, or I can still say uh, I am teaching English uh, at the moment. Like this, I can use any tense now. I mean, any word I can use. See, this is a phrase. At the moment is a phrase. So I'm saying I'm teaching English at the moment. So that means I may not be an English teacher. See, I may be a French teacher, or I may be a German teacher. But because I did not get any classes for French or German or any students for that, at the moment I'm teaching. I can even mean like this. So you see how with the same set of words, with the same set of words, the context changes. The context changes in different way, and everything happens uh, through certain things like words or grammar. Sometimes even with pronunciation. Sometimes with the tone of the speaker. We can change context like this. Anything can be changed. So this is what you have to understand here. And when we talk about past, you would say I was teaching English at that point of time. If you say I was teaching English at that point of time, and now what does it mean? Uh, Teaching English is not my regular job. I was just teaching English at that point of time because I did not get any other job. Imagine I'm a software developer, but I'm very good in English. So I'm saying, so what did you do when you were not having any job? Then I would say, see, at that point of time, I was teaching English. If I tell like that, then people will understand. Okay, he's a software developer, but at that point of time, he did not get any job, so he was temporarily teaching English. You see how things change and how things work. This is something that you guys have to learn. And I would say that uh, whatever I am teaching, whatever we are learning is not everything. Okay, I may not be knowing many things because I'm not an expert in grammar. Okay, whatever I've done all through these years, like school, college, university, and some degrees in English, whatever I've learned, I'm teaching you. It doesn't mean that whatever I'm teaching is the ultimate, it's the perfect thing that you have to, follow. Nothing like that. Even I may do some mistakes. But these are basic things that you guys have to be familiar with. And unless you are good at these things, we may not be knowing, how to apply English in our life. So that thing you have to learn. So, is it okay? Two tenses we saw. One is the simple past, and then the other one is the past continuous tense. Mm, and uh, past perfect tense also. I told you. I gave some hint about how we should use it. Present perfect also we saw. That is has, have will come for present, and for past it is had. But anyhow, for past tense, I have to teach you more. That is, we'll stop with these two tenses first. That is the simple past and past continuous. We'll stop with that. The next class we'll focus on past perfect tense and past perfect continuous tense. Okay. So whatever I have taught you so far, if you are not clear with that or if you have doubt, please go through those videos again once so that I'll make sure that you people are clear with these topics, and then we'll proceed to the next one. So any feedback that you want to give, any suggestions that you want to make about the class, you can speak now. You want to say anything about the class or anything like that, you can tell now here. Do you all get to understand whatever I am teaching? Are the concepts clear? Are you all there, dear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, ma. Is it useful for all of you? Whatever you're learning in the evening class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but make sure that you use it somewhere, ma. Okay, don't just listen and forget and leave it. Okay, you guys have to take some worksheets. You have to take some online test on tenses or articles or prepositions. What I've completed, you can try the online test. There are many websites where you can take tests. You simply have to give the name of the topic, and then you give online test. It will come. Try it. See whether you can identify the tenses properly, then solve some worksheets, and then slowly you try to practice this while you're communicating in both writing and in speaking. You have to monitor your language. That is very important. You have to know, am I using the tenses properly? Am I using the right auxiliary verbs? Am I using the right article when I want to say something, or am I using the right prepositions? These are things that you have to monitor, because nobody else will do it. And even if somebody is finding out that you're making a mistake, they are not going to come and tell you, see, you have made a mistake, you have used a article wrongly, you have used a preposition wrong, you have to change this, instead of this you have to do this. Nobody is going to come and tell you all this. So it is your responsibility to fine tune your language, monitor, find out where you're making mistakes, and then that is the reason why I'm here. So when you have difficulties with language, please come and talk to me. Please come and ask help, so that I'll try to help you with whatever I know. So with that, I think we'll close the session today, and we'll see you in the next class. Is that okay, dear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, dear. So anything, any other topics that you want to handle, anything else that you want to say, you can tell me when you see me directly in the college. Okay. So take care till then. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, dear. Bye now.